Hey, what's up, Journey Gang? Thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. If you're new here, hey, hello, my name is Life. On this channel, we help to bridge the gap between neuroscience and spirituality. We focus on how the mind works so we can create our own reality. Now, if that sounds like you get down, then you are in the right place. Hang out a while, subscribe, but only if you're feeling the vibe. And then, of course, feel free to hit the like button, share, or comment on any videos that actually resonate with you. In today's live stream, we are going to do a chapter overview. We're going over breaking the habit of being yourself. We are on chapter 4 now, so that's what we're going to be going over today in this live stream. Now, it's been getting good. It's getting good. Chapters 1 through 3 have been amazing. Chapter 3 was kind of a longer chapter. Chapter 4 really isn't. So we're gonna be able to we'll be in and out today. Okay. So chapter 4 is super, super short. And then appropriately, chapter 5 is kind of a longer one. So, welcome back, everybody. I'll give it a few minutes for everybody to get in. If you are the one person that is in right now, let me know if you can hear me, see me correctly, and everything is all good. Do me that solid and let me know how it looks and how it sounds. I am using this microphone right here, so let me know if it sounds good or should I switch it up. And then we're going to jump right in because I do want everybody to be able to enjoy the replay. Okay. All right, let's see. So let's go ahead and get with it. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's see. Okay, it looks good to me. So we're going to go ahead and get started with chapter 4, which is called Overcoming Time. We already did chapter 1, which was the quantum you, which was talking about how everything pretty much is made up of energy. We talked about chapter 2, which is overcoming the environment. It's the title of that one. And chapter 3 was overcoming your body. Today, we are going over chapter 4, which is overcoming time. Hey, Miss Beverly, welcome in. Let me know if you can hear me okay, because I feel like I'm a little bit further away from the mic than I usually am. I'm trying to talk loud, but let me know. So again, we're going over chapter 4. Mr. EC, thank you so much for coming through, sweetheart. I appreciate you as usual, coming through the support. This is going to be a really quick live stream, you guys, because chapter 4, like I mentioned, is okay. Good, thank you. Chapter 4 is really, really short. So let's get started. We're on page 85 of Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Okay, so it says, so much has been written about the importance of staying present. I could recite statistics on everything from distracted driving to divorce to support the notion that people have a really hard time staying in the present moment. Let me add to that body of knowledge by expressing this concept in quantum terms. In the present, all potentials exist simultaneously in the field. When we stay present, we are in the moment. We can move beyond space and time, and we can make any one of those potentials a reality. When we are mirrored in the past, however, none of those new potentials exist. You've learned that when human beings try to change, we react much like addicts because we become addicted to our familiar chemical states of being. You know that when you have an addiction, it is almost as if your body has a mind of its own, as past events trigger the same chemical response as the original incident. Your body thinks it's re experiencing the same event. Once conditioned to be the subconscious mind through this process, the body has taken over for the mind. It has become the mind and therefore, in a sense, can think. Now, we learned that in a couple of chapters ago that your body, once it is trained to do these things subconsciously, your body is now the mind. Now you're not really thinking about these things. That's how your subconscious mind takes over and really helps you to engage in your everyday activities. That's why we talked about purposely training our subconscious mind to do the things that we actually prefer to do, the things that would support us along in our journey, right? Hey, Derek, thank you so much for coming through. Welcome. All right, so we are on page 83 of Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. This is chapter 4. And here is how it works. You have an experience which has an emotional charge. Then you have a thought about that particular past event. The thought becomes a memory, which then reflectively reproduces the emotion of the experience. If you keep thinking about that memory repeatedly, the thought, the memory, and the emotion merge as one, and you memorize the emotion. You now living in the past become less of a conscious process and more of a subconscious one. The subconscious comprises most physical and mental processes that take place below our conscious awareness. Most of its activity is involved in keeping the body functioning. Science refers to this regulatory system as the autonomic nervous system. You don't have to consciously think about breathing, keeping our hearts beating, raising and lowering our body temperature, or any other of the millions of processes that help to keep the body maintaining order and healing itself. And we all know that. So we're on page 87 at the bottom. Think of Pavlov and his dogs. In the 1980s, or I'm sorry, 1890s, dyslexic. In the 1890s, the young Russian scientists strapped a few dogs to a table, rang a bell, and then fed the canines a hearty meal. Over time, after repeatedly exposing the dogs to the same stimulus, he simply rang the bell and the dogs automatically salivated in anticipation. This is called a conditioned response. And the process occurs automatically. Why? Because the body begins to respond automatically um, anatomically, I'm sorry. The cascade of chemical reactions that is triggered within moments change the body physiologically, and it happens quite subconsciously with little or no conscious effort. Okay, and I think we've talked about that before, and everybody has heard that particular study being done where those dogs and we've heard it with rats and anything else where they're testing animals and testing that repeated response to certain stimulus. So that's just common sense. We all know about that and how that works, and that works the same with the human body as well. This is one of the reasons why it's so hard to change. The conscious mind may be in the present, but the subconscious body mind is living in the past. If we begin to expect a predictable future event to occur in reference to a memory of the past, we are just like those canines. One experience of a particular person or thing at a specific time and place from the past automatically or anatomically causes us to respond physiologically. Once we break the emotional addictions rooted in the past, there will no longer be any pull to cause us to return to the same automatic programs of the old self. Unfortunately, for most of us, because the brain always works by repetition and association, it doesn't take a major trauma to produce the effect of the body becoming the mind. The most minor triggers can produce emotional responses that feel as though they are beyond our control. For instance, you're driving to work and you stop at your usual coffee shop, which is all out of your favorite hazelnut coffee. Disappointed, you grumble to yourself, why a major enterprise like this one can't keep in stock such a very popular flavor. At work, you're irritated to see another car parked in your preferred parking spot. Stepping into an empty elevator, you're exasperated to discover that someone ahead of you pushed all the buttons. When you finally walk into the office, someone comments, "What's up with you? You seem kind of down." You tell your story and the person sympathizes. You sum it up, "I'm in a bad mood. I'll get over it." The thing is, you don't. A mood is a chemical state of being, generally short term, that is an expression of a prolonged emotional reaction. Something in your environment, in this case, the failure of your barista to meet your needs, followed by a few other minor annoyances, set off an emotional response. The chemicals of that emotion don't get used up instantly, so their effect lingers for a while. We call that a refractory period, the time after their initial release and until the effect diminishes. Um, the longer the refractory period, obviously, the longer you experience those feelings. When the chemical refractory period of an emotional reaction lasts for hours to days, that's a mood. What happens when that recently triggered mood lingers? You've been in a bit of a funk since that day, and now you look around a room during the staff meeting, and all you think of is that the person's tie is hideous, and the nasally sound of your boss is worse than nails on a chalkboard. At this point, you're not just in a mood, you're reflecting a temperament, a tendency toward the habitual expression of emotion through certain behaviors. A temperament is an emotional reaction with a refractory period that lasts from weeks to months. Eventually, if you keep up the refractory period of an emotion going for months and years, the tendency turns into a personality trait. At that point, others will describe you as bitter or resentful or angry or judgmental. Our personality traits then are frequently based on past emotions. Most of the time, personalities, how we think, act, and feel, is anchored in the past. So, to change our personalities, we have to change the emotions that we memorize. We have to move out of the past. And it's so important that we understand how that works because essentially, we all want to change for the better. We all want to grow and expand, and we know we're made for more, right? We know there's more in our future, but this is explaining how we have to stop expecting the worst to happen. We have to stop reliving those moments in the past where things didn't quite work out our way. But we have to realize that things are going to happen that we don't prefer, and we have to be able to release those things and move on from them. Okay, so that was page 88 to 89. Let me make sure I'm looking at my notes here. All right, and then let's move on. Let's skip a couple of pages. We're going to go to page 93 for those of you who have the book. All right, so we're talking about living your desired new future in the present moment. So here's another one of those big questions. If you know that by staying present and severing or pruning your connections with the past, you can have access to all the possible outcomes in the quantum field, why would you choose to live in the past and keep creating the same future for yourself? Now, I just want to break in here because I feel like you have to believe that you can create your own reality. And I know that a lot of us here, like, we say that we do, but we have to actually believe that your thoughts and feelings and the thing that we have to believe in law of assumption. We have to believe in law of attraction in order for us to say, okay, well, yeah, so and so, something bad happened to me today, or, something negative, something unfavorable happened to me, but I'm not going to let that get me down. Like, I refuse to allow that to change my mood. You have to really actually believe in these ideals in order for you to make this type of choice that he's asking about right here, because he's saying, like, why would you choose to live in the past and keep creating the same future for yourself? Well, a lot of us don't believe that our thoughts and feelings create our future. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Like, do you actually believe that thoughts become things, that your energy and motion, your emotions create your future? Ask yourself that. I'm not really asking. You guys can respond in the chat, but I'm not really asking for that. I'm just saying for you to really be honest with yourself about what your beliefs hold, because a lot of times, for me, what I experience is something happens to someone and then they constantly want to talk about it and they want to, bitch about it or whatever. And it's like, is that really helpful? Are you creating a future that is going to be equal to that? So anyway, so why wouldn't you opt for living in the future of your choice now instead, ahead of time? Instead of obsessing about some traumatic or stressful event that you fear is in your future, based on your experience of the past. Obsess about a new, desired experience that you haven't yet emotionally embraced. Allow yourself to live that new potential future now. To the extent that your body begins to accept or believe that you're experiencing the elevated emotions of the new future outcome in the present moment. You're going to learn how to do this in this book, is what he's saying. And we're on page 94. So the greatest people in the world have demonstrated this. Thousands of so-called ordinary people have done it, and you can as well. And we've talked a lot about those people here on the channel over time. You have all the neurological machinery to transcend time, to make this a skill. What some might call miracles, I describe as individuals working towards changing their state of being so that their bodies and minds are no longer merely a record of the past and become active partners, taking steps to a new and better future. At this point, you understand that the main obstacle to breaking the habit of being yourself is thinking and feeling equal to your environment, your body, and time, the big three. Obviously, then, learning to think and feel greater than the big three is your first goal as you prepare for the meditation process you will learn in this book. I bet that at some point in your life, perhaps even frequently, you've already been able to think greater than your environment, your body, and time. These moments when you transcend the big three are what people call being in the flow. There are a number of ways to describe what happens when our surroundings, our body, and our sense of time's passage disappear and we are lost in the world. In speaking to groups across the globe, I've asked audience members to describe creative moments when they were so consumed by what they were doing and were so relaxed and at ease that they seemed to enter an altered state of consciousness. These experiences generally fall into two categories. The first of these are so-called peak experiences, what we think of as transcendent moments when we attain a state of being that we associate with monks and mystics. Compared to those highly spiritual events, the others may be more mundane, ordinary, or prosaic, but doesn't mean that they're any less important. These ordinary moments happen to me many times, although not as often as I would like. While in the process of writing this book, when I first sat down to write, I often have many other things on my mind. My busy travel schedule, my patients, my kids, my staff, how hungry, sleepy, or happy I am. On the good days, when the words seem to flow out of me, it is as though my hands and the keyboard are an extension of my mind. I'm not consciously aware of my fingers moving or my back resting against the chair. The trees swaying in the breeze outside my office disappear. That bit of stiffness in my neck no longer nudges for my attention, and I'm completely focused and absorbed by the words on my computer screen. At some point, I realized that an hour or more has gone by in what seemed to be an instant. This kind of thing has likely happened to you. Perhaps while you were driving, watching a movie, enjoying a dinner with good company, reading, knitting, practicing piano, or simply sitting in a quiet spot in nature. I don't know about you, but I often feel amazingly refreshed after experiencing one of these moments where my environment, my body, and time seem to disappear. They don't always happen when I'm writing, but after completing my second book, I found that they occur with greater frequency. With practice, I've been able to take control, so these experiences of being in flow are not as accidental or serendipitous as they first were. Overcoming the big three to facilitate the occurrence of such moments is essential for losing your mind and creating a new one, which is essentially what we're doing here. And that is the end of chapter 4. I told you guys it was super, super short chapter. And, there really isn't much, in my opinion, either to say about overcoming time. We all know that time doesn't really exist. It's all in our head. And it's all about what we allow ourselves to focus on. So the next chapter is chapter 5. It's called Survival versus Creation. I've already started to outline this one, and this one is going to be a good one. I was going to do it later today, but I actually picked up a shift at work, so we won't be able to really get into this one today. But expect that we will get into this one soon, probably next week at some point. I appreciate you guys being available and working with me on my crazy um, pop up live streams. If anyone has any questions, let me know in the chat. I appreciate you guys for being here and just listening and just taking it all in as we read through this. We're almost halfway through the book. Um, so it's been really fun. And like I mentioned, I read this book and then I'm just sharing it chapter by chapter with you guys. And the next one of Dr. Joe's books is going to be You Are the Placebo. So that's the next one we'll be getting into. Super, super exciting. And you know what I realized is that it's all about perception. It's all about how we receive the information. And so I'm grateful to be the one or one of many that is on the journey with you guys receiving this information, because a lot of us don't know about this stuff. Like this, whether you like it or not, you're learning about quantum physics. Like people go, they spend their lifetime studying this stuff and really putting it to practice in the field. And so you guys are all studying this along with me. We are quantum physicists and neuroscientists. And so it's exciting because the more we engross ourselves into this type of knowledge, the more we learn how incredibly powerful the human mind and body is, the more we can create our own reality, which is the point. That really is the ultimate point for me being here along on this journey with you guys, is to share the transformation. And speaking of sharing the transformation, there are going to be more channels that I open up. Like I am going to open up more of a lifestyle fitness type of channel, because as I've mentioned, I am on a mission to gain weight, to be more healthy, to make healthier choices. And I just appreciate having YouTube and having that platform and have that type of support. So I was thinking for a while about doing it all on this one channel, because it is a part of my journey. But I do want to just keep the channel how it is and stay focused on the mind science part of it. So look out for that. And that channel is also going to be where I house the dating game Life Connections. That is going to be housed on a completely different channel. So be ready for that. And, just expect more and more things to come out of this. Not all at once and not as quickly as you might expect it or want it to come, because I'm not here for that. I'm really on YouTube to share my journey and to be a blessing to whoever is meant to receive it. And so that's where that comes along. Yeah. Uh-oh, Derek. No, I needed to be in a healthy way, fam. Yeah. He said, I get you to wait. No, but it really is important to me to. It's not super important that I gain weight. It is. I do want to gain weight, but I do want to be healthy. I want to make healthier choices um and things along that nature. So that's what I'm going to be sharing on my new channel. It is called Life on Purpose. I'm gonna drop the link to it real quick because I've had the channel for quite a while actually. I'm gonna just share it with those who are interested. If you're not interested, you don't feel led to go and subscribe to the channel, because like a lot of you guys know, I have several channels and I won't always be posting what you might consider to be consistently on these channels. Again, like I mentioned, these channels are for me. So if you're interested in seeing more of the lifestyle, my everyday ins and outs and things like that, that's what I'm going to be sharing on the channel. If you're not, it's all good. Stay where you at. That's the point of me separating and having all the different channels, so that I can do whatever I want to do on the different channels. And you don't have to worry about scrolling past this playlist or that type of video and this and that. So if you don't, not to sound like that, like if you ain't, but yeah. If you want to be a part of it, be a part of it. If you don't, it's all good. So that's I don't even know if I can share it. Am I? Probably not. Not as that person. Hold on. Real quick, and I'm gonna let y'all get out of here. I see a few of y'all done left already, so I'm gonna just share this, and we are going to end it. Okay, there's the Life on Purpose channel. If you would like to be a part of that, head on over, subscribe. You will be my second subscriber if you click soon. Um, anyway, I'm up out of here, guys. I love you all for no reason at all. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.